welcome to the camp. Yeah, an old friend of mine. Most of y'all know him from CCL. So, here this
What's going on, Smokey Mag? Thank you for having me inside the smoking room, fam.
but good to finally have you in here. I've been trying to get you in here for years.
yeah, it took some time, but we here now. We here now.
Oh, oh yeah. It's for I don't really know if you kind of away from call lately, taking care of your life and everything. You're just now starting to get back into it and everything. But tell if
Yeah.
anybody ain't familiar with your what you are about.
Well, I mean, like you just said, I did take a couple of years away from doing virtual wrestling to take care of life. You know, life happens, and so I had to step away for a little while. But I just recently came back. I missed, being behind the mic and just talking the way that I talk and get, entertain the fans and everything like that. So I missed it a lot. So,
Yeah.
finally came back and I'm back at CCL on a full-time basis and stuff like that. Outside of virtual wrestling, I do have a podcast that I do, every week on the internet, which is all about wrestling. And when I say wrestling, it's not about just WWE. It's like pretty much all wrestling. And, so I've been keeping fairly busy,
Yeah, I seen something that you shared with me, that No Spots podcast. I turned it on and it's like, holy crap. Cause you were talking about that whole
Yeah.
way that, yeah. I was just like, holy shit. I sit there and was like, holy.
Yeah, like I said, when it comes to No Spots, like I said, we cover all wrestling organizations, not just the big one, not just the big feds, like WWE. We cover NWA, we cover AEW, we cover Impact, NXT, of course. One of my co-hosts he has his own report that he does because he's the one guy on our three-man team that watches NXT UK religiously. So he's the guy that gives us a report on what happened on NXT UK. We talk about SmackDown, which is usually still fresh in our minds because we're usually streaming live right after SmackDown. So that's usually still fresh in our minds. We talk about all the pay-per-views that are coming up and stuff like that. Give full previews of that. And we even talk about like independent wrestling because especially here where I live at in the Mid-Atlantic region, there are more and more independent promotions that are opening up, that are providing wrestling fans like myself another option to be able to watch wrestling at not only a reasonable price, but a much more entertaining and more intimate, setting. So, but that's what No Spots is. It's definitely like your comprehensive wrestling podcast from just three very enthusiastic and pretty knowledgeable fans like myself and my two co-hosts.
Yeah, I agree with that. Cause I listen to a few of your podcasts and everything. I love a good podcast because you can sit there and just be like, damn. Because y'all really are passionate about, that's what I like, I like people who are passionate about what they talk about. I don't like people who just, and they don't mean nothing, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
the fact that y'all do that, and y'all really mean that.
Word.
But, yeah. But,
What's that?
Check that out because your podcast.
What's that?
Your podcast. You hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Fuck it up.
I can hear you now.
It fucked up? Oh, fuck. Okay, everybody, this is the testing phase. I'm on a laptop right now, and I'm trying to test everything, so it's gonna be kind of, so y'all gonna have to deal with it. I ain't not gonna edit. I ain't not gonna piece this shit together. I might, but who knows? But
Yeah, I mean
yes,
that's what you got. That's the thing about technology, man. I mean, it's a love hate relationship. I'll tell you that much. Trust me, I know. I have to deal.
and I'm just
Sometimes I have to deal with that with my own podcast. Sometimes where the platform we do our podcast sometimes has issues and stuff like that. So I feel your pain.
yeah, and I just now got this laptop, so I'm trying to get the feel for it.
Right.
But yeah, moving on. When you, what got you in the car originally? I know, I don't even really know that, because I know I met you in CCL and stuff like
Right.
that. I never really asked you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was on the net on YouTube, and I actually stumbled onto Story Mode Federation (SMF). Super shout out to the Super Dingoes. And when I started watching that, I just got hooked into it, and then I started watching a lot of SMF, SCAW, ICCW, DWA, DWF, and everything. And then when Eddie started his promotion, CCL, and I just saw how much he put into like the editing and the presentation. But then I realized I was like, what he had, a lot of these other feds, what he didn't have, a lot of these other feds had, and that was a second voice. I mean, SMF every now and again would have a second voice, but it was mostly just Bob Ross. But ICCW, they had two voices. DWA had two voices. Sometimes DWF, I think, had one voice, and then SCAW had one voice. But the one thing that was missing was the second voice, and that's when I decided, I said, all right, you know what? I'm gonna hit up Eddie. Like, we had been friends for a little bit, not too long, but for a little bit. And I hit him up about joining CCL, because he was still like, I think, a year in to CCL. Yeah, he was a year in, and we talked about me coming on as a second voice, and he was down with it. I was down with it, and I didn't understand how it was going to work because when you're watching as a fan, you're assuming that everybody's in the room at the same time talking and at a screen, but you don't realize the intricacies of what goes into it. So I had to learn that, and then when we got on, and we just hit the ground running. I remember that first year that I started, it was myself and Eddie, and then Joe Matos, Hollywood Matos, and then he disappeared to go take care of his SCA stuff, and then we brought in Brian Henniger, and then we had the Doc, and then we had D-Wall, and now this year we got a couple of new guys and stuff like that. So me being gone for a couple of years, I'm coming back and trying to get used to everything, relearn a lot of things, which it's been difficult because in the time that I was away from call, I didn't really have a lot of time to watch it. So I'm like really on full on catch up mode right now. But I gotta credit SMF and those feds for like getting me into this in the first place. They were so much fun to watch, and I just was like, why am I not doing this?
Yeah, I agree with that completely because that's what got me into it, and was UWO, and I ran into Eddie like probably like 3 years, 2007, and I actually found out about Eddie from the guy because he joined. And that's how I found out about CCL originally. I was like, I'm gonna try this out. But I see what you're talking about, the whole commentary thing. My main thing when you was gone, what CCL was missing was you wasn't scared to be that voice of the opposite. You weren't scared. I mean, you would be that one person to be the heel while everybody else did your face. And I felt like that was missing from CCL.
And that's funny. That's the funny thing. It's funny you mention that, Smokey, that I would be like that voice, that heel voice, because the funny thing was, I was never a heel. I was just a guy that just didn't give a fuck. I just said how I felt about things, you know? And I think that was
Yeah.
definitely missing when it came to CCL, and I'm glad to bring that back because you don't have a lot of guys out here when they do commentary, that just have that sort of don't give a fuck mentality and just want to say what he's got to say as a means to entertain and, entertain and inform and educate those watching. You know what I'm saying?
You always stayed in character. You always have fun. You made sure everybody knew you was in character. You wasn't going to take anything from personal stuff you know what I mean? It's all what's going on right then. So that's why I always liked you, because no matter what was going on outside, what was going on in that show, you didn't give a fuck.
Exactly.
You talk shit about who was great. Somebody can remember.
I still remember before you left CCL when I took a shot at you in commentary and you decided to just throw a whole promo at me and I just let you rock. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let Smokey get his shit off. You know what I'm saying? I took a shot at him on commentary, let him get his shit off. Because I was like, go ahead, cook, fam.
I was a fire. I was everybody was trying me. Everybody was trying me, and every time I heard it, I would fire back. That's all I knew, to fire back.
Right.
That's when I had Eddie and all that stuff happened. I had to defend myself. That's why I feel I gotta say something. You know, I can't go out like a bitch. You know? And that's what gets me in trouble.
Hey, it'd be like that sometimes, fam.
Yeah. I'm glad you're back though, because CCL needs you, and it's sad. I ain't gonna talk much about it because this ain't the forum for that. It's messed up that I'm not there now that you're there. I was looking forward to that. You commentate some of my matches and stuff, but maybe in the future, you never know.
You never know. You never know.
Okay, but yeah, speaking of that, I think I told you this off the air last night. Part of that storyline last year was he was an inside guy giving me, I needed to come back and get revenge from CCL for all that stuff they did to me in the past. That was my original idea, and it was going to be like a complete inside job. It grew over time. And that's what was actually going to happen in my head before I came up with the Kingdom Mortals. But I wasn't even there. I came up with that, and then I found out you was going with something fresh.
Yeah.
I think the inside guy would have been Swerve.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta say, I would have liked to have done that. I think that would have been a lot of fun to do. Because again, going back to your point you made earlier that it sounds like when I'm at commentary, I'm more of a heel than a face, even though I'm a face, at least in my head. But I think that would have been like a great little like surprise heel turn for people to think, oh my God, Shep is helping Smokey. Chad is the one that's helping Smokey deal with CCL. How could he do that? He was been so loyal to CCL for all these years. Why would he do that? I think that would have been like the most controversial and probably the main, probably would have been a storyline that would have been the focus of a lot of the virtual wrestling community. And it sucks that we didn't get to do it, but again, life happened. And, I had to take care of life and had to take care of my business and things like that.
Of course.
And now, like I said, life is a lot better for me now, well, I wouldn't say a lot better, but it's not as hectic as it was or stressful as it was. So that now I can have the downtime to be able to be involved not only with my podcast every week, but with CCL. And, hell, if I end up getting a call from another virtual wrestling league to do like a guest spot, I'm open to that too. I mean, I'm at a point now where I do want to like kind of expand myself in terms of multimedia stuff, just get myself out there,
Yeah. That's a good thing, because we all creative people, and I know that about you. You're very creative. You just ain't had that chance because you've been busy and everything. But now that you got time, you can actually show people what you can, because I know you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if you can just showcase your skill set, that people will be like, whoa, it's crazy. And that comes from me because I so.
Yeah. Word. Yeah, no, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it,
Yeah. And it's all a learning process too. You gotta look at it and be like, okay, I ain't perfect. I still got a lot to learn. I ain't never gonna be perfect. There's always something that you can learn. That's why I always said, you can learn from somebody. You can learn from a new person. You can learn anything. There's always something that you can learn. And I like how I will tell you this. If you wanna stand, I did it the harder way, because after all that.
I lost you, Get Smokey.
Oh, fuck. Can you hear me?
Lost. Yeah, I got you now. I'm pretty sure you were asking a very good question, but I couldn't hear you from over here.
Okay. But I was saying that about the whole the call in Twitter. In Twitter. You hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, okay. Interesting to be, because there's so many different calls there. There's so many different people there. There's so many different egos there. And people say, I got an ego problem. Man, I ain't shit, champ. And telling you people, I sat there and I watched it. Saying that God's gift to everything. I ain't shit. And I'm sitting there like, okay. But there's a lot of good, talented people on there. It's insane that people like Eddie ain't found them, or people like D-Ball and everything, because there's a lot of talent. And there's like people like Nick Black, or this guy I had on the podcast yesterday. They still need you. They just now found call. They already know, and that's impressive to me, because I don't see that in a lot of people. It takes them a while. You know what I mean? Because people are out for themselves. You know what I mean? So it's good to see somebody who's new and they want to do things. So that's why I always got a lot of respect for them.
Yeah.
I always told people that if you're not greedy and you want to help the community, and bring a new guy in and show him the ropes, and they'd be like, hey, this is how we do things. We're going to have fun doing this. We ain't going to take it too seriously. We might take it a little seriously.
Well,
we have fun.
Smokey, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that, because I know we were talking offline, and one of the things you had mentioned was about, like this new wave of commentators, and, what kind of advice I would give them. And I mean, it's really simple, right? Because, right now, and I'm full disclosure, like right now with CCL, they got a couple guys that are on there, and the problem that I have with them is that they're too excited. They yell too much. They talk over each other. They talk over everybody. So my first piece of advice would be learn your pocket. Learn where you can jump in with your take on what's going on, or your jokes, or what have you. but you know, you got to learn how to be able to to give and take. You don't want to just take and not give, especially when you're working, especially if you're working in a league where you're going to have multi-man booths. Like CCL's always been a multi-man booth since I joined, where it's either the three of us or the four of us. And then when I made a couple of sporadic appearances before my full return, I joined, and it was like 7, 8 Bamas that's talking in there at once, and I'm just like, yeah, this is not going to work. Like, there's too many people, and everybody wants to get this shit off, and it just doesn't work. So my first piece of advice is, when you're working with multi-man commentary teams, you gotta know when to jump in. You gotta know when you can get in, get your shit off, and then get out. You know, that's why a lot of times especially with my return, I've kept a lot of my stuff, whether it's analysis on what's going on or my jokes, very succinct, simple, and then I get out. Because, you know, I have the mentality that if I'm telling a story or I'm telling a joke or I'm giving analysis and somebody jumps in on me and cuts me off, I'm sorry, but I might go off and cuss them out right then and there and mess up the recording, because I wouldn't appreciate that. So that's my first piece of advice. Know when to jump in, know when to jump out. 2, it's okay to be excited, but it's as a call fan, as a wrestling watcher, I get annoyed when the commentators are just continuously yelling at me. You know, I get annoyed because they're continuously yelling at me, and then you can't even hear the primary voice of the team because you're yelling. You're continuously yelling because of what's going on. And you're yelling, and that irritates me. So that's my second thing. The old saying goes, less is more. Less is more. You don't have to be over the top, everything like that. Like I said, virtual wrestling is not supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be fun, but it can't be fun. It can't be fun to a point that you're careless with how you present the product. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're just saying, oh, it's just supposed to be fun, you get careless, and then you're going to have people that go into the comments and say, who got this kid? Why is he on there? He sucks. He's trash. Get him out of here. And then that messes up that person's confidence, because they're seeing people be overcritical of what they're doing, because they think what they're doing is the right way to do it. So I would say less is more. And I mean, my final piece of advice would be just have fun, have fun with it, but treat it like it's a job, almost. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, the end result is that what you are doing, what's being done, is you're presenting something to an audience. And that audience wants to have it presented to them where they understand what's going on. If you have a situation where a new wrestler comes out of nowhere and jumps somebody they know, the first thing they want to know is, who is that wrestler? What's their story? And then they want to know, after the beatdown, why are they doing this, or what's the possible scenarios of why they're doing this. They don't get that education if someone comes out and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're here. Why are they here? Why are they here? And within that first 10 seconds of going off and marking out, you have yet to inform the audience of who this person is. And guess what? Within that 10 seconds, you could lose a lot of people in that 10 seconds by just going ape shit and not explaining who that person is. You see what I'm saying? So those are my pieces of advice, because it'll help people to be successful. It'll help them to have fun doing calling call shows and virtual wrestling shows, and it'll make them so that they can be able to spread their wings out to other leagues. Because if other leagues are looking at you and they see that you're doing too much over the top stuff when they have a certain style of their commentary, they're not going to want to look at you to bring you in either as a guest or what have you, because they're thinking you're going to come in and do like you're doing in this other league and try to take over the commentary from the people who've been doing it the longest, and then you're going to alienate yourself. So, that's all I got for that,
Yeah, that's excellent. I agree with it completely because I feel like you got to do research you got to do research on everybody that you're commentating. You know what I mean? You want to have facts and you want to have stats and stuff like that to be up on like what's his name you name dropped him earlier, Brian Hands. He always had these interesting facts and everything he always throws out there. It's awesome to me. I like people like that who very knowledgeable when it comes to wrestling and stuff like that. So it adds that, added element into the commentary team. Instead of yelling, like you said. So, don't you agree? Hello? Hang on, folks. I think there's an error here.
What?
1 second. 1 second, folks. It's an error right now. I don't know why it's doing it. Okay, there we go. I think it's working. Oh my God. F my life. Signal that actually. Yeah, folks, you gotta understand. My signal is freaking hard.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, finally.
Okay.
I got
cool. All right. So what I was getting ready to say before my mic kind of messed up was, what you just mentioned about research is another very important thing because you definitely want to know, who it is you're commentating about, the wrestlers themselves. I got my feet taken to the fire, in a subliminal way in one of the call groups by somebody because somebody came out during a battle royal. And I literally said on the microphone, "Who the hell is this guy?" And I got dragged over the coals. But guess what? I came back on Cuz and told him, next time you're gonna say something about me, you better say my name. Otherwise, we gonna have problems. But other than that, it is important that you know who it is that you're talking about. Very important. Like right now on CCL, there are a lot of new faces. Like I came on Revolution. A recent episode of Revolution, and I only recognize 3 people that appeared on that entire show. That was Cassie Cage and Scarlett because of Mortal Kombat 11, and Bull Dewey because he's a longtime CCL member on the main roster. So, but everybody else that was in that pay-per-view, that was on that show, I had really no clue about, except for I think the young lady who jumped, June Tiger the week prior. That was the only other person I recognized. So it's always important, definitely, to research, know your product so that you can inform your audience.
Yeah, that's very important. And as you said a little bit ago about what was it, the 10-second thing about the fan losing interest? Want to be able to tell the fans whatever you can to draw them into the show. Because you don't want them to be complete, as you was talking about, yelling all the time. They're going to be like, people, I don't want to hear this all the time. I want to hear something funny, or I want to hear something.
I will say though, a lot of the call wrestling fans are extremely knowledgeable when it comes to a lot of these performers, because a lot of times when we do live premieres of these shows, I'm in the live chat, and it's amazing. Like when the music hits, they immediately know, oh, that's so and so, or they see the Titantron video coming out, oh, that's so and so, and I'm like, damn, I was sitting here actually recording this and didn't know who they was until I saw a nameplate, but they knew it as soon as the first note started in the song. I'm like, call fans are very intelligent and knowledgeable when it comes to this, but just like with real life wrestling, you have your diehards and you have your casuals. And the one thing you don't want to do is cater too much to one side, which alienates the other side. You got to be able to cater to both sides, which again goes back to being knowledgeable of your roster and being knowledgeable of what's going on. Got anything else for me there, Smokey?
I'm thinking I was speaking and I forgot to take it off mute. I was talking the whole time.
I
But
trust. I've done that a few times too.
freak. But what I was trying to say was, if more people would do that, have that kind of mindset, there's a lot more call fans out there. I feel like, because I feel like back in the day, whenever they had like SNL and stuff like that,
Yeah.
there was a lot. To me, there was a lot more. There's a lot more fans because like guys, Bingos and all them, they knew how to bring them in. They knew how to. It doesn't matter what kind of story it is. It might be controversial, like the whole, what is it, freaking, Rico and all that shit. You know what I'm talking about. I can't really talk about it because we'll get offended. People get offended.
Yeah,
But,
relax.
yeah. I'm gonna move on. Yeah, before I say something and people will be like, "Whoa, shit."
Yeah, please.
But looking back,
Listen, listen. You my man and all, but I just came back to the scene. I don't want to get canceled just as I'm coming back. Be like, oh, he was on that show with Smokey, so he was talking shit with Smokey. Get him the hell out of here. Nah, fam, I didn't do all that.
What are you talking about? You canceled right now. You on the show with me? I'm canceled already.
Shit, I'm
already canceled.
we're gonna be we're gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Trust me, it's gonna be all right. We ain't worried about that.
Yeah. I know. I'm fucking. But looking back, what was your most memorable moment commentating, and what was your worst?
I think my favorite moment was when Brent Harvinator turned in the Hardcore Championship to challenge for the CCO World Championship and put his own career on the line for that championship. And he turned around and he won it. I was at Supernova 2012. And I thought that was a heavy moment. That was a huge moment because, Harvinator was on this quest. He was on his quest. He was determined he was going to win the world title. And he told himself that if he couldn't beat the champion for the world title, that he was done with wrestling. He bet on himself and he won. I wouldn't say I have a worst moment. I wouldn't say that because, like I said, with call wrestling and just doing commentary, it's all fun. It's not really like a job. It's something I enjoy. It's something that I have fun with and everything like that. Like I said, I think my worst experience would be, like I said, that battle royal. I didn't know who the guy was that was coming in, and I wasn't trying to be fake and pretend like I knew who he was. And the fact that got me, called out to the podium by somebody who I don't know, who felt the need to call me out but didn't mention my name. I think that was a pretty negative experience because that made me realize I'm in my 30s, deal with a bunch of 20-year-olds. I guess this is how they deal with things, is that they do it subliminally. They don't have the moxie to want to call you out your name in public and whatnot. So I had to be the one to show, look, I'm old school. You got a problem with me. Number one, speak to me directly, or if you're going to put it out there in public, you better say my name and don't do it subliminally because it's going to be worse for you when I come back. So that was basically it. But I've had some really fun moments with CCL. It was even fun when me and Eddie went over to FEH. Matter of fact, that was about 10 years ago. No, 8 years ago. I'm sorry. About 8 years ago. We went over to FEH and called one of their pre-show matches before, Moment of Truth, which was their WrestleMania, which was fun. And then we turned around and we won, the FVH award for best commentators. To this day, I think we're the only ones that won that award. But hey, we're in the history books as FVH best commentating team. So I've had a lot of great moments and memories from doing this, which is why, when life got less hectic, I was like, okay, I'm coming back now. I need to come back now and create more memories.
Yeah, because you missed a lot.
Yeah,
I
missed the whole, I missed the whole, the CCL being like destroyed by Thanos or some shit like that. I missed all that, and I was just like, I didn't have time to watch to even catch up on that, So I was just like, it just feels like it's Holiday Havoc 2011 all over again, where I'm just jumping in from scratch with just some previous knowledge, and then I'm just going from there.
Yeah, and what I was meaning about worst experiences, it don't got to be like an actual worst experience. It can be like, mine is when I did stupid voices sometimes, because I try to make different voices whenever like Smokey's in the ring or something. So I had to make, I can't be Smokey, so I had to be somebody else. I did a Swedish voice. And I was just saying, yeah, and I just couldn't say nothing else. That's all I did the entire time, the entire match. I freaking hated myself. I still listen back to that, and I'm just like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah. Well, no, like I said, I don't really have anything like that. What's that?
I said you make some mistakes sometimes because, especially back then, because there's different ways to record. Like we got Skype now, and we got that. Back then, we used like Xfire. I'm sure you remember that.
No. When I joined CCL the first time, we did it over Skype. And we did it over Skype for many, many years. It's only like recently when I started to take the break back in 2018 or 2019 or 2018 or so, that it was switched to Discord, which is funny because I've used Discord not only for commentating call, but also commentating underground wrestling because, I'm into underground wrestling outside of this as well. And I did commentary for that and as well use it over Discord. So, Discord's been a very great tool when it comes to recording audio and everything. And it sounds so much more crisper and cleaner on there than it does with Skype, because Skype, of course, it sounds like you're on the phone because you're basically on the phone. But, that's how it sounded back then.
I'm still learning this thing, so it's easy to record on here.
I feel you.
Wait a second. We got that done. Let's see. I'm just gonna say this. But go on to WWE right now. I want to ask you something because this is thought is in my head, and it kind of makes sense to me in a way. Because what could benefit WWE now? Because anything they do is going to be shit on. We should have known this would happen because they own every week nonstop. Everybody starts to expect so much, you know what I mean? So how can they get, in your personal thing, how can they get over that? You know what I mean?
Well, I will say this. WWE, the thing with WWE is that they're using a formula that has worked for them for so many years. You get to that point where when something works, you don't want to switch it up or you don't want to do anything different because you're fearing failure because what you've been doing before has been working. So, of course, you're going to stick with that formula. But the problem with sticking with that formula is that, it's working now, but what's to say that other promotions around you don't have a different formula that works for them that gets them to a place where they start to pass you by? Will you take the risk of changing your strategy to adapt with the times? Or are you going to stay in that safe space and run the risk of being buried to the ground? And right now, WWE is sometimes finding themselves in that situation. Sometimes they do kind of go outside the box with the outside the box thinking, sometimes, but most times they just, they stay in their safe space. And that's one of the things I've noticed, ever since I started doing this podcast back in 2018, April 5th will be 2-year anniversary. Ever since I started doing this podcast, I started to watch more wrestling outside of WWE and realized that a lot of these companies, they have their ways of doing things and whatnot, and their ways of doing things is what works for them. But every now and again, they may go outside the box to try to really turn the heat on other promotions. Like, look what Impact did. Look what they did. They put their top championship on a woman, on Tessa Blanchard. Like, if that don't scream, they're trying to really get into the game. I don't know what will. AEW has really brought back focus on tag team wrestling, something that the WWE has ignored for several years. AEW is doing it the best. They have one of the best tag team divisions in all of wrestling. And their men's division as a whole is just so strong because they have great storylines and great wrestling. The only thing that's holding back AEW is the consistency of the women's division. The women's division is so inconsistent right now. Some weeks they'll have a good match on Dark and then a subpar match on Dynamite, or they'll have a subpar match on Dark and then a pretty good match on Dynamite, or they have multiple women's matches on both shows. There's no consistency there with the performances of their women, the stories with their women. That's what's holding AEW back right now. If they can get their women's division consistent and moving in the right direction, oh man, there's not going to be much stopping them. Not going to be much stopping them at all. And that's that's the one thing that WWE has the advantage of over AEW, is that their women's division has been long established and has been, boom, moving and grooving. You know what I'm saying? Whereas AEW, they're still trying to get the shit together. That's what that is. So that's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I can't really speak on it because I'm always honest about it, because I kind of, I ain't got time to really watch wrestling last few years. I just go off what everybody says because I'm gonna find out about it anyway because I hang out with wrestling. I ain't gotta necessarily watch it and know what's going on, and that tells you something. Yeah, I just feel like that. The build off that, the whole WWE fans, the AEW fans, and the Call fans, I feel like they all have something in common in a way because I feel like if they all just, band together and support, their shows and what they're doing, then they'd be more successful instead of going after each other. You know what I mean? It's always trying to focus on war, taking out WWE or war with another federation. You need to focus on what you're doing. You just started. You need to not worry about that. That's kind of what happened in Impact beginning.
But here's the thing. You just said that AEW fans, WWE fans, and Call wrestling fans have something that in common. I have to disagree because Call fans will support, from what I've seen, a lot of Call wrestling fans will support pretty much any and every Fed as long as they present a good product. It's not like with WWE fans who are apologists of what WWE does, whether it's bad or indifferent, or the AEW guys who think that AEW can't do no wrong and that everything they do is right. Yeah. But with Call fans, you get people who are just going to support Call as a whole, regardless of what league it is or who's in what league. They're going to support Call as a whole because they know that at the drop of a dime, and this is something that a lot of people when it comes to real life wrestling don't understand. Wrestling can go away tomorrow. Wrestling can go away tomorrow suddenly. Like, we could all wake up tomorrow thinking we're going to get to watch NXT and AEW, and all these companies can say, we're bankrupt, we're going out of business, and we have no more wrestling. That could happen. Same thing with Call. A lot of these guys, like Eddie's gone through burnouts at least 3 or 4 times in the nearly 10 years I've known him. a lot of these call guys could get burnt out so badly they don't want to come back and they go away. Super Dingo's left. They gone. ICCW got gone.
They're around. They're around somewhere. They're around somewhere. I talk to them every now and then.
But they're not doing call like they was back when they were in their heyday. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I say with WWE, when it comes to when you look at WWE, if you're a fan of wrestling, period, enjoy wrestling. I say this on my podcast every week. I'm like a broken freaking record. But this is the best era of wrestling to date. And this is coming from somebody who grew up on the Attitude Era. And even I feel like this era is better simply because of the amount of wrestling that is on TV or on some streaming platform every single week. During the Attitude Era, you only had 4 options for wrestling on TV. Raw, SmackDown from WWF, and you had Nitro Thunder from WCW. And then if you had the TNN, you had ECW. You had a 5th option. So, but that's all you got. Nowadays, you get 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, which I was at Raw last night, by the way. You get Monday Night Raw. 3 hours. You get AEW Dark, 2 hours. You get an hour of NWA Power. Both of those are on YouTube. Everybody has access to YouTube. If you have access to the internet, you have access to YouTube, period. And then you have Impact Wrestling, which is on Access TV, which apparently a lot more people have than I thought. So I was kind of wrong on that one. Wednesday night, you have Dynamite from AEW, and you have NXT. Both are 2-hour shows. Thursday, you have, I believe, MLW, and you also have NXT UK. And NXT UK streams on the WWE Network. Then Friday, you have SmackDown. You see all that wrestling, and that doesn't even include weeks where they have where these promotions have pay-per-views. That's more. So, that's why I never could understand people just out here out and out complaining left, right, and in between about things going on when, like I said, tomorrow all of this can be gone. All of this could be gone tomorrow, and none of us will have a say in it because all we cared about was we wanted these promotions to cater to us without really understanding why they needed to do what they needed to do.
And that's why I'm always trying to appreciate, what's in front of me. I kind of lost. I mean, I want to put out the best product for the fans. So I want to create something that people. I get too into it, you know what I mean? And I get distracted, and I just get too far into it. I'm trying to figure out a word for it. But what I'm trying to say is that I just need to focus on what's in front of me and enjoy the moment, instead of trying to go too far in the future or going too far into what we need to do, for the fans or anything like that. Just focus on right now. Like me and you, we ain't got a chance to hang out a lot lately. And this is the first time I talked to you on a chat like this in like 8-9 months.
Yeah.
And it's freaking awesome because I feel like we still I just talked to you because I always had this connection. I feel like me and you always had this respect for each other. So it's easy to bounce off somebody like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've always had respect for you, whether it was in character, out of character. Even in character, if I was critical of you, that was part of what my gimmick and my shtick. But it was always out of respect. I've always respected your character. I've always respected your work ethic. I've always respected just you in general. And outside of this call wrestling thing, you've had a really hard life. I've been following it. You've had a really hard time recently, and the fact that you're still here and you're still standing is a testament to the type of person that you are and the type of heart that you have. And that's an admirable thing to have because again, with what you've gone through recently, I think a lesser man probably would have quit and probably, swallowed a bullet or something, but you stood the test. You stood the test, and you're still here. And I feel like a lot of people they need to see that, and they need to continue to see that and not think of you as whatever call character you are. They need to think of the man and not the character.
Yeah. So I'm glad you got on here, man. Let's say we've been trying to do this for 8, 9 years, probably, because I've been doing this show since like 2010 or something like that. So I've been trying to get you on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been
And I just want to tell you.
It's been. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. You all that stuff that was going on with me and Eddie back then. You weren't even involved in that. You didn't even get involved into it. You could have shit on me for what I said.
Listen.
But you didn't. You always had respect for me. You had respect for Eddie, and it's just awesome.
Listen, like I said, even when I went after that dude who called me out in a public forum without mentioning my name, what I said back to him was with all due respect. It was with all due respect. Yeah. I'm the type of person like, as long as you have some level of respect for me, I'm going to have that same level of respect for you. But the moment that you feel you can disrespect me is the moment that I will disrespect and flame you, period. But I'm the type of person, like, I avoid all kind of drama because I'm at that age. I'm too old now. I have a significant other. I have a kid. I got responsibilities. I don't have time to be, embroiled in, online drama and things of that nature. That's just, I just can't deal with that. I have too much going on outside of this to add this to it,
Yeah, don't do it, man. It ain't worth it. Trust me, I know. But yeah, I'm glad to have you on here, man. We're going to have to do this again soon, later on down the road, cause I like having you on here, and I want to work with you more and make even more interesting stuff. Cause I feel like me and you, we can work well off each other, especially our characters. We don't, so you know what I mean. So it kind of works that way.
I'm with you. We could definitely have to look at that for definitely.
Tell everybody how to get if somebody wants to get a hold of you. But you said earlier that you want to do more things involved in call. How could they get a hold of you?
Well, I'm on Twitter. I tweet occasionally. Like normally, I tweet during like the Washington Wizards basketball games because I'm friends with the Washington Wizards radio crew. They retweet me and shout me out on the radio and everything like that. But I'm on Twitter at DC's People's Champ. That's at DCS People's Champ. I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/DC's People's Champ. And you can just hit me up on one of those two platforms. If you would like to invite me to your Fed for like a one-off. I'm open to it, just hit me up and I'm open to it. Again, you can hit me on Twitter, at DC's People's Champ, and on Facebook, facebook.com/DC's People's Champ, and just hit me up and let me know what's good. And, like I said, I'm trying to, expand a little bit more and check out other leagues and stuff like that, but CCL is always going to be home to me, for real.
Oh yeah, I understand that. We're gonna close this out. I just want to tell everybody, because I got a lot of support on that last episode, and I really appreciate it because I've been struggling. He knows, Champ knows, I've been struggling with motivation and stuff because of and all the stuff that was going on. But all that support I got yesterday off that last episode, it makes me want to create more on here. It makes me want to do a lot more and bring new people out here to the fans and showcase what they can do. I want the show, there's a lot of people involved in, we all are in this together and we need to show it instead of all out, as I said earlier, out for themselves.
Well said. Very well said. But Smokey, thank you for having me on. Definitely definitely
man.
want to do this again sooner rather than later. And, hopefully next time I come on here, I'm doing like more online multimedia ventures and stuff like that and everything like that. So again, thanks for
Yeah.
having me, dude. And that what you just said, the motivation, try to keep that motivation going and everything like that. And I think that you'll realize that you'll start to you'll see the growth in you and what you're doing.
Yeah. All right, but I appreciate it, man. I'm hoping I'm gonna get another episode out probably in the next couple of days, maybe tomorrow. You never know. But I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you, Champ, and
Thank you.
everybody else. The Smoke Room, Smokey, Champ.